Jamuna tira vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishimad His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shishiguru and Shigoranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonon, Chapter 40, Prayers, the Prayers of Akrura, text number 28. Soham tavangri upagatos satam durapam. Not that right meter, no? Soham tavangri upagatos sata durapam. Tusmi satandura pang vipagatos. Soham tabang vipagatos misatam durapam. Tachapyaham babanugraha ishamane. Tachapyaham babad anugraha ishamanye. Punso babet jahir sasam samsara napa. Punso babet jahir samsara napa vargas. Babejarhi samsarana pavargas. Thank you. Punso babejarhi samsarana pavargas. Twaji abjana basat upasana jamati syat. I got it. Twajyabjana basat upasana jamati syat. Soham tabangyupagatosmya satandurapam. Tachapyaham babadanugraha ishamanye. Punso babejarhi samsara napavargas. Twajyabjana vasatupasanaya mati syat. Soham tabangyupagatosmya tu soham tabangyupagatosmya satandurapam. Tachapyaham babadanugraha ishamanye. Punso babedjarhi samsara napavargas. Twajyabjina vasatupasanaya matishyat. Please chant. Soham tabangyupagatos. Tachapyaham pavanugraha ishamanye. Punso babejarhi samsara napavargas. Soham tabangyupagatosmya satandurapam. Tachapyaham babadanugraha ishamanye. Punso babejarhi samsara napavargas. Saha, being such, aham, I, tava, your, angry, feet, upagata asmi, I'm approaching, asatam, for those who are impure, durapam, impossible to obtain, tat, that, cha, an, api, also, aham, I, babat, your, anugraha, mercy, isha, O Lord, manye, think, pumsha, of a person, babhet, occurs, jarhi, when, samsarana, of his rotation in the cycle of material existence. apavargaha, the cessation, twayi, of you, abja, like a lotus, nabha, of you whose navel, sat, of pure devotees, upasanaya, by worship, matihi, consciousness, syat, develops. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Being thus fallen, I'm approaching your feet for shelter, O Lord, because although the impure can never obtain your feet, I think it is nevertheless possible by your mercy. Only when one's material life has ceased, O lotus navel Lord, can one develop consciousness of you by serving your pure devotees. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurube Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swami Giti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Being thus fallen and approaching your feet for shelter, O Lord, because although the impure can never obtain your feet, I think it is nevertheless possible by your mercy. Only when one's material life has ceased, O lotus navel Lord, one can develop consciousness of you by serving your pure devotees. There's very important instructions in this verse. Here's Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comment. Though what I have said about myself is true, I surrender to you. This surrender is hard to attain, but if I have your mercy, this is possible. When will you be merciful to me, O Lotus Navel One? I will concentrate on you when I get the opportunity of serving devotees. When will that be? When the material energy seeks to act. The question. When will that be? When the material energy ceases to act. When will this happen? When I get the mercy of the devotees. In other words, getting the mercy is the first step, followed by the beginning of destruction of material influence, followed by the service to devotees, followed by concentration on the Lord. What was shown previously is stated here. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur giving us entrance in a much deeper manner into the mood and the thinking, the heart of Akrura. He further comment. Akrura surrendered himself to Krishna's lotus feet in 2 verses. I will be able to realize you in proportion to how much realization you give. Vijnana Matraya. You are the cause of all other knowledge as well. Sarva Pratayayat Hetu. Since you are the super soul Purusha, inspire all activities. You are the controller, Isha. As time, give the result of actions. As Maya, Pradhan, you blind up the jivas, and as Brahma, Gyan, Brahman, you liberate them. As Bhagavan, Ananta Shakti, you give us devotion to yourself, and thus your work is complete. There's a description in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in which, actually no, in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, is in the section in which Srila Prabhupada writes about the instructions that Lord Chaitanya gave to Srila Sanatana Goswami. And he gave the symptoms of the different stages of devotion. And when he described the symptoms of Bhava Bhakti, which is is the stage before Prema Bhakti, then pretty much describes when the devotees reach this position that they're completely free from any material influence. And they basically have fully realized their spiritual constitution, so they come to the position of Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma. And in that Brahma Bhuta stage, they can fully enter into devotional service. They can start to receive, to fully focus on the lotus feet of the Lord. So, Akrura says here that it is impossible, as long as you're impure, it's impossible to obtain the lotus feet of the Lord. So one have to become pure to be able to obtain the lotus feet of the Lord. That's the understanding. Being thus fallen, I'm approaching your feet for shelter, O Lord, because although the impure can never obtain your feet, however, there is one possibility of obtaining the lotus feet of the Lord, even when one is impure, and is when the Lord bestow that mercy. But I'm going to read the commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami, in which he explains that receiving the lotus feet, receiving the mercy of the Lord, is the ultimate goal of the devotees who are aspiring to become free from the entanglement of this material condition. And that happens when one is able to achieve this stage of becoming free from material conditions. So the process is going to lead us to that. The process of devotional service is leading us gradually to this full surrender. And specifically in this pastime of Akrura, we see how by his full meditation from the beginning, from the time that he received the instruction of Kamsa to go and see Krishna, he was fully absorbed himself in Krishna consciousness, in thinking of Krishna. And throughout the travel from Mathura to Vrindavan, he was fully absorbed in this. And in this absorption, he exhibits all these symptoms that Srila Rupa Goswami and that Lord Chaitanya described in the instructions to Srila Sanatana Goswami. I read it. Lord Chaitanya, this is from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Chapter 13, I think, is the teachings to to Sanatana Goswami. Lord Chaitanya next described the symptoms of a person who have developed from faith to the stage of bhava. Such person is never agitated, even if there is a cause for agitation. Nor does he waste any time, not even a moment. He is always anxious to do something for Krishna. Even if he has no engagement, he will find some work to do for Krishna's satisfaction. Nor does such a person like anything which is not connected with Krishna. Although he is situated in the best position, he does not hanker after praise. He is confident of his work. He is never under the impression that he is not making progress towards the supreme goal of life, going back to Godhead. Since he is fully convinced of his progress, he is always very busy achieving the highest goal. He is very much attached to gratifying the Lord and chanting and hearing about the Lord, and he is always attached to describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord. He also wants to live in a holy place like Mathura, Vrindavan, or Dwarka. All these characteristics are visible if one has developed the stage of bhava. He further described that part of the mood of a devotee who have reached this stage of advancement of Krishna consciousness is that one of the main characteristics is this term that is called Ashabandha, which is an important instruction that Srila Rupa Goswami gives in the Nectar of Devotion. The term Ashabandha means this strong conviction that we will certainly receive the mercy of the Lord. We will receive the mercy as long as we continue steadily committed to the process of devotional service as given by the Lord. So Asha Bandha. Asha means hope, and Bandha means one is bound by this hope. And this principle is at the heart of the mood of the devotees, the mood that we are actually cultivating. This Srila Rupa Goswami described this as hoping against hope. And the thinking is, because I'm trying my best to follow all the principles, all the routines, all the sadhana, the rules and regulations, all the instructions that are given to me in devotional service, I am sure I will go back home, back to Godhead. Because one is assured to receiving the mercy of the Lord. So there is a famous verse that Srila Rupa Goswami described this mood, this Ashabandha mood, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. In the Nectar of Devotion, that also is quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita during these instructions that Lord Chaitanya gave to Sanatana Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, and perfectly describe this stage and this mood. Na prema savanadi bhaktir apiva yogotha va vaishnavo Jnanam va shubha karma va kiya aho sajjatir api ashti va hinar thadika sadakhe twaji tathapi achetya mulashati he gopijana valava vyatajate ha hamad ashaivam mam. the translation is very beautiful, and this is a very important verse in the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion. "O my Lord, I do not have any love for you, nor I am qualified for discharging devotional service by chanting and hearing. Nor do I possess the mystic power of a Vaishnava, knowledge, or pious activities. Nor do I belong to a very high caste family. On the whole, I do not possess anything. Still, O beloved gopis, O beloved of the gopis, because you bestowed your mercy on the most fallen, I have an unbreakable hope that is constantly in my heart. That hope always gives me pain," which is quite something. Just to break down this beautiful mood of the devotee that is recommended to us. Srila Rupa Goswami says he have no love for Krishna, nor he have any attraction or love for the means to obtain love of Krishna, which is hearing and chanting. He have no taste for the process of bhakti yoga, by which one is always think of Krishna while doing, whatever work one have to do. So all of that is lacking in me. Srila Rupa Goswami explained this is the mood of the Vaishnava. The Vaishnava thinks like that. As far as philosophical knowledge about Krishna and pious works, he is not qualified for that. He doesn't possess any of that. And what to speak of all of that? He's not even, he's born of not a good family. His birth is not auspicious also in the family that had birth. So, with all those qualifications, the only thing that he has is just to pray to Krishna, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Krishna, the beloved of the gopis. I simply wish and hope that some way or other I may be able to approach your lotus feet. And this hope gives me pain, which is quite remarkable. Why it gives it pain? Well, our Vaishnavacharyas explains that the pain is because you feel ashamed to even approach Krishna and ask him for mercy. Because I'm ashamed of my position. And indeed, when we cultivate this mood, we constantly praying to the Lord, but it's just being in contact with the reality of being so conditioned by this material energy and forced to act in such a way that keep us away from Krishna. But we have this hope. We have this hope that Krishna will bestow our mercy, his mercy will come. But while we pray for that mercy, sometimes we may feel ashamed because, it's like almost you keep praying for the same thing and the same thing and the same thing. And sometimes we see that this material condition that is haunted me for, forever, it just doesn't go away. But as a devotee, we're given the assurance. Krishna gives us the assurance. The scriptures give us the assurance that if we remain constant, committed to the process of Krishna consciousness, for sure we will receive the mercy of the Lord. And This is beautifully expressed in the prayers of Lord Brahma after he made the mistake of disrupting Krishna's pastimes. And Lord Brahma is a pure devotee, so he was feeling extremely ashamed by having made that mistake. And in that mood of humility, he offered the beautiful prayers to the Lord. And among those beautiful prayers, there's this verse that also gives us entrance into the cultivation of that mood of hope, of being fully reassured that Krishna will bestow his mercy upon us. Tatte nukampan shushamik shamano bunjaya evadma kritam vipakam hibak bapubir vidanam namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadaya bak. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reaction of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So, this mood, this hope that for sure the Lord will bestow his mercy upon me is at the heart of what would take us to this position of pure devotional service. And this is the mood that Akrura had in his prayers. This is the mood that we see also so many great personalities that are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj Parikshit, he also had this humble mood. Let the snake bite me. You know, he's guilty. He doesn't do anything to actually he patiently and accepted the curse and the punishment. But he will absorb himself in a humble mood in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, understanding that by that process he will obtain the lotus feet of the Lord. For the devotee, Maharaj Rishabdev says this when he was instructing his sons, that if one is serious to go back to Godhead, he must consider the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the summum bonum and chief aim of life. So, this is the real goal, this hope for the mercy of the Lord. So Ashabandha becomes this very important principle. On the opposite of Ashabandha, there is the hope that materialistic people, or when we are blinded by the material energy, there is a hope that by engaging in the material world for the purpose of sense gratification, the great hope is that I will obtain all happiness and perfection in one sense. And the word that is used on that term is by the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj is Durashaya. Durashaya. Asha, the verb Asha is there. Asha means hope. Durashaya is this impossible hope. It won't be fulfilled. It's a hope that there will be no fulfillment. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna uses the term Mogasha. In Mogasha, Asha still, Mogasha means the hopes, all these hopes for happiness, they be completely baffled because one have no faith. This is in the 9th chapter. One have no faith. For those who have no faith in this knowledge, this transcendental knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, then all the hopes for liberation, for happiness, for all these things are baffled. So these are impossible hopes. The only hope that is possible to obtain is the mercy of the Lord. And that's through the process of devotional service. And through the mercy of the Lord, then one cannot fully achieve this happiness of the soul. What is it? Now I got a blank. Famous verse, Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 7. No. In the Srimad Bhagavatam. Sorry? Yayatmasu prasidati. Yes, thank you. Yayatmasu prasidati. That's the happiness of the soul. That's how we achieve it. Bhaktir, yato bhaktir adokshaye ahaitukiya pratiyata yayatmasu prasidati. So, how do we attain that? What is that position? How the other thing that we receive is that, or let me backtrack. Akrura say that for those who are impure, it's impossible to obtain the lotus feet of the Lord. However, by the mercy of the Lord, one can obtain it. And Srila Rupa Goswami tells us that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most munificent in this regard, in terms of give the mercy of his lotus feet, regardless of one's qualification. So therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami says that Lord Chaitanya is Mahavadanyaya, Namo Mahavadanyaya. Krishna Prema Pradayate, he delivers, he gives Krishna Prema to anyone. Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishna Ya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tushe Namaha. I offer my obeisance to Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya is the chief, is the in all the different manifestations of the Lord, even Krishna himself. Krishna has conditions. You first surrender. And then I give you my lotus feet. I give you my mercy. So with Lord Krishna, and Akrura went through all this, he fully surrendered. And while he's fully surrendered, he was meditating, will he accept me? For sure he will accept me because I'm a fully surrendered soul. And then the Lord did bestow his mercy. But Lord Chaitanya is even more merciful because Lord Chaitanya doesn't have any type of um, condition. Lord Chaitanya will give his mercy regardless. You have, therefore, Lord Nityananda, who was the chief associate of Lord Chaitanya, he will instruct anyone who will he see, and he's instructing us, Bhaja Goranga, Kaho Goranga, Laho Gorangera Namare. So, Bhaja, worship Lord Goranga. Accept Lord Goranga's holy name. Chant his holy name. You know, he say, if you do that, you will become very, very dear to my heart. He say, Sehai mora pranare. You become actually the life and soul of my heart. Lord Nityananda says. So Lord Nityananda is telling us, you take shelter of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya, he's giving us Krishna Prema, he's giving us entrance to something that is very difficult to obtain, that not even Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma were able to obtain so easily like that. And Lord Chaitanya is giving us entrance to that space in which is the most intimate place of devotional service, which is devotional service in Vrindavan. And more than that, Lord Chaitanya reveals to us the highest type of love, which is the love between Shrimati, that is come from Shrimati Radharani. So Lord Chaitanya is the combination. So there is a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Radha and Krishna becomes one in Lord Chaitanya. And so by approaching Lord Chaitanya, one gets entrance into Radha and Krishna. This is the teachings, that our acharyas give us. So Lord Nityananda, who is the original guru, he says, you take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Narottam Das Thakur sings, Patita Pavana Hetu, Tava Avatar, Moshama Patita Prabhu, Napai Vear. So he is he's Patita Pavana. He gives mercy to the most fallen. So, and the great example is Jagai and Madai. So Lord Chaitanya gave his mercy. He delivers. He gave himself, his lotus feet, to Jagai and Madai, who were highly disqualified. Sorry. They received the mercy because Jagai and Madai had association and received the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So, as Akrura says in this verse, that, O Lord, O lotus navel Lord, can one develop consciousness of you by serving your pure devotees? So it's through the devotees that we receive the mercy of the Lord. So these are very important instructions. I'm going to finish by reading Srila Sanatana Goswami's commentary that is very wonderful in this verse, and then we have questions and answers if you are. Akrura uses the word asmi to indicate his conviction in surrender to Lord Krishna and its eternal nature. You cannot be obtained by those who have uncontrolled senses, O Lord, as being thus fallen and approaching your feet for shelter, O Lord. Because although the impure can never obtain your feet, I think it is nevertheless possible by your mercy. Only when one's material life has ceased, by serving your pure devotees, O Lotus Navel Lord, one develops bhakti to you. As Antarjami, you can help me obtain you now. You are merciful because you are merciful to all beings, giving the worlds a residence in your navel. He gives the example of Narayana, using Ananta as his seat. Or, his mercy is described, since he is the cause of destroying samsara. He manifests the material world to benefit the jivas, with the lotus consistent of the worlds, which is the birthplace of Brahma, the creator. The word Bhabat indicates reverence for his mercy and Akrura's excellent bhakti. The phrase may be taken as Bhavat Anugrahe or Bhavat Anugraha. He expresses desire for liberation. He became detached from his house on experiencing suffering in association with Kamsa, or because of offending the gopis. Or he desires to teach the world about avoiding offenses to the great devotees. Or, afflicted by suffering in samsara, I approach your lotus feet to destroy that suffering. O independent Lord, one cannot search out a reason for your mercy. You desire liberation. Why not desire love for me? Sai Krishna asking. When a person becomes free of samsara by service to your devotees, he can think of you. Inclination of the mind is the cause of prema, or the cause of prema is knowledge of the greatness of bhakti. Or, I cannot control my mind. To control it, I approach the lotus feet. And then the question by Krishna. Why do you approach my feet to control your mind? Why not absorb your mind in me? The answer. Men must first destroy samsara. Suffering from samsara, I'm not qualified to ask for that. Or obtaining your mercy, I think that men, free from samsara, can concentrate on you by worship of your devotees. Now, lacking your mercy, I cannot pray for that. Or, having praised what you have seen as Narayan and surrendered to him, why do you not praise the Lord as my two-handed form which gives joy in Gokula? And then the answer. When a person has destroyed samsara by worshipping Narayan with the lotus navel, one can concentrate on you, the joy of Gokula. Though you are difficult to approach for a fallen person like me, it is possible by the mercy of you, the son of Nanda. It is not possible otherwise. By worship of Narayan, one can concentrate on you. That is the correct worship. It cannot happen without your mercy. I guess it cannot happen without your mercy. This indicates the difficulty of obtaining Krishna, or the methods will not produce this result. Without the mercy, how can I, like Brahma, praise you with descriptions of your form? So it is only by the mercy of the Lord that we can fully understand Him and actually enter into direct relationship with Him. Any comments or questions? Okay. Krishna Archana, you thinking of something or you? Okay. It's it's a very deep mood that maybe even far from many of us, but at least we're cultivating this um, this mood, this hope of obtaining the Lord's mercy to be able to break through our condition like that. Yeah. Harish Prabhu.
So Srila Sanatana Goswami says that one is meditating on Lord Narayan in order to break samsara, the repeated cycle of birth and death, and then only after that can you try to attain Krishna. So it seems the, I guess, intimate connection with Krishna or the intimate connection with Lord Chaitanya only really comes after a kind of understanding of the opulence of the Lord.
Well, you know, Akrura is Srila Sanatana Goswami and our acharyas are giving us entrance to Akrura's mood. And Akrura's, in Dwarka, they're connected to Vasudev, Krishna. That's, they're more Vaikuntha type of Vasis. And or their mood is but worshiping the Lord in His opulence, and to have entrance into Krishna in Vrindavan, the cowherd boy Krishna, Nanda Sutta Krishna. That's another level that can only be achieved after one is fully pure again. So this is the sequence, that I understand it. Lord Chaitanya comes and then makes it accessible to anyone regardless. However, we're given the worship of Radha Krishna, but we worship Radha Krishna in all opulence, like Lakshmi Narayan. But, Lord Chaitanya is giving us the worship of Radha and Krishna. So, but in our initial practices, we worship the Lord in opulence, like that. So, so the mood is in awe and reverence, not like the mood of Vrindavan that is just spontaneous and there's no. It's just madhurya. It's not. It's sweet. There is no Aishwarya. So it is for us important to approach the Lord in the beginning with awe and reverence of His opulence. So that's more or less I understand it. That answer, yeah. Anyone else want to comment or have something to say? Okay, thank you so much. Grantara Sriman Bhagavatam ki jai.